giving your money to woke corporations that hate you and your values. That's why I order all my man's shaving products from Jeremy Razors. Order your Precision 5 starter set today. This set comes with 4 razor blades, sharp as true, with tungsten handle and flip back trimmer. You're not in the market for razors? Jeremy Razors also has other facial products fit just for men. So you don't have to stock your bathroom with products that clean your body but stains your conscience. So shut up and shave. Go to jeremyrazors.com and use CBurns15 to save 15% off. That's jeremyrazors.com. Use my special code CBurns15 to save 15% off. This happened over the weekend. Chicago. That's the south side of Chicago. And all you see is these little kids wreaking havoc, tearing up people's stuff. And they got so unruly, they arrested 40 minors between the ages of 12 and 40. So welcome back to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In this video, we are going to discuss Chicago once again. We've covered it before. Chicago. We're going to talk about Joe Biden, and then we're going to get into some other representatives that they're complaining about Florida's education. And I really think they should be concerned about the education in their state. So the video that we just watched, that was in Chicago. Okay. Chicago is, they said they issued out a curfew. Anybody that's under the age of 18, you got to be in the house before 10 o'clock. That curfew been enacted since, I believe it was Memorial Day, when all the kids was acting crazy downtown, beating up tourists, terrorizing people, destroying public property, destroying private property as well, destroying personal property. And they're at it again. I guess they do this every weekend. So much so, the day before, a security guard lost his life because he was trying to stop teens from coming in to a particular establishment, and they beat the guy up, and he ended up losing his life. So I'm going to share that story with you. Let's see. This first story. Yeah, this is it.
We're learning a security guard died just blocks away the day before.
Sabrina Franza is here. Sabrina, you spoke to his wife, who just wants to know what happened.
Jackie Fisher loved being a security guard, and his wife loved that about him. But Saturday was their 22nd wedding anniversary. She says she begged him to take off work, and he didn't. That was the last time that she saw him alive.
That day we went bowling on our anniversary, and he said to me he had to go home and get his clothes so he can go to work. And the last thing I remember, him going out that door and turned around and just looked at me, and that was it.
Barbara Fisher worried about her husband every time he left for work at the Showplace Icon Theater in the South Loop.
But he loved the job, and whenever they called him, whatever shift it was, he just went.
Recently, she says, his work became more and more dangerous. Fisher was beaten back in February for enforcing the theater's new rules. No guests under the age of 17 can enter without a parent or guardian after 6 p.m. It's a rule a staff member tells CBS 2 began after they saw an increase in disruptive young adults at that location.
I said, this is what you need to do. Go to work and just leave the teenagers alone. He said, but I can't do that because like I'm getting paid and not doing my job. So it costed him his life.
Saturday, police sources say a group of teens visited the theater. 72-year-old Fisher was again doing his job. He tried to escort them away. He suffered some sort of medical episode and was taken to the hospital where he later died. The medical examiner has not released the official cause of his death.
So it's devastating.
Staff at the theater was not able to speak to us on camera. We've contacted their corporate office for a response to this. We've also reached out to Chicago police to see if there's been any arrests or movement in either of these attacks. There has not been. In the newsroom, Sabrina Franza, CBS 2 News.
Sabrina, thank you.
Stories start with the who, what, when, and where, but it's why it's important to you that matters most.
Now, do you think that they're going to find who did all that to the security officer? Tell me if you think they will actually find who actually did that to the police officer. A security officer, and he's 72 years old. And he lost his life just trying to do his job. They're not going to find him. Now, this next video, it has I guess the police chief in that district speaking. And to me, it's wild because they're acting like it's real nonchalant. Oh, this is another day in the neighborhood. Now, the last video I posted about Chicago, they were talking about the immigrants causing all this ruckus. What about your own kids? What parents are raising these kids that they're causing all this craziness? Like no accountability at all. What parents are raising these kids? This article is listing all the misdemeanor counts. I guess some kids had weapons too when they arrested them. Like who's raising these kids?
Try to stop it.
CBS 2's Jermont Terry is live at the scene with how it all played out last night. Jermont?
Joe and Erica, cars were damaged, windows were broken, and all of that happened before the teens even made their way to the 7-Eleven and started looting. Tonight, Chicago Police Interim Superintendent Fred Waller said this group crossed the line, leaving them no choice but to make an arrest. And tonight, 2 of the violence interrupters believe there would have been more arrested had they not stepped in.
So, man, they're making it really hard right now, y'all. So
this video shows the teens as they gathered along Roosevelt Road Sunday night. In the mix, trying to deter the youngsters, Joseph Williams.
If you know some of these kids, y'all come down here and get y'all kids. If you know some of them for sure, definitely come get them.
Williams is with the nonprofit Mr. Dad's Fathers Club.
It's important to have our program because it helps get fathers involved in their children's lives.
And that's why when word came the teens were preparing for another teen takeover.
And we didn't want to sit at home and not do anything about it.
So Williams, along with Charles McKenzie, tried convincing the teenagers to leave, but the task wasn't easy.
We were out here running, breaking up fights. They fighting.
Chicago police were not out to babysit.
I say, hey, man, they not playing. They telling you guys to leave. They giving you a chance to leave. You guys have to leave.
The crowd eventually moved to a 7-Eleven off Roosevelt and Jefferson. Look how they ransacked the store, breaking windows and wreaked havoc. CPD made it clear.
If you're an officer, you should be putting hands on people and arresting them right now, not watching them walk by you.
Police arrested 40.
That just shows that there will be some accountability in place. And I hope that it actually brings even more awareness for parents to make sure that they know where their children are.
Because McKenzie says parents did respond to the live feed.
I saw a father come out, told his daughters, hey, you guys supposed to be at the show. What you guys doing here? Get in the car.
These youth advocates say a response team is needed to address these takeovers.
And when I say response team, that means you coming with the plans. You coming with sprinters. You coming with everything we need.
And you can see tonight there is a police pod camera in this parking lot. We know it was here during this incident on Sunday, and that could lead to even more arrests. Of the 40 people arrested, the ages range from 12 to 20. Police cited them for curfew violations, criminal trespass, and get this, 2 teenagers had guns on them, one with a silencer. Thankfully, no shots were fired in Sunday's teen takeover. Reporting live in the South Loop tonight, Jermont Terry, CBS 2 News.
All right, Jermont, thank you.
Yes, this is great.
Did you guys hear that? 2 teens had a gun and 1 teen had a silencer? A silencer on his weapon. Illegal weapon, we know it is. He's a minor. And he had a silencer. They're not doing enough. I don't think the police department is doing enough because I believe you should be holding the kids accountable or the parents. You should be holding the parents accountable. You can't keep up with your kid. So we're going to hold you accountable for your kid's action. If your kid is lying to you, and then maybe that would be a wake-up call for the kids. Or maybe the parents will actually know where their kids are instead of just letting them roam the street. Because back in the day, you let your kids roam in the street. They didn't get into a bunch of ruckus. They was just playing with each other. But now, these kids, they just want to destroy everything. They don't have respect for people. They don't have respect for people's property. They act like a bunch of wild animals. That's Chicago for you. And maybe this is just normal for the inner city. Maybe this is just a normal thing for the inner city where they could just go to a place and act the damn fool. Maybe that's just a normal thing. So I meant to share that. Where you could just go to wherever and act a fool and destroy people's property. Get in fights with each other. They act like they ain't never been outside before. This is so ridiculous. Like, who's raising these kids? This is really ridiculous. And I wish I could find the video where the superintendent was speaking. Because that's the video I want to show you guys, because the guy was like, oh yeah, we normally don't arrest the kids. We just give them the benefit of the doubt, but now we're serious. You should have been serious. These damn kids don't care. And apparently the parents don't care either. They just let them do whatever. That's not it. These kids do not care. So anyway, that's in Chicago. That's in Chicago, and they do this every weekend in Chicago. They do it every weekend. So I hope maybe they'll come to their senses. Maybe people will start looking out after their kids, but I don't know. I really don't have any words for why would an individual act in such a way that you're just destroying people's property, you're harming people. And to me, I can't even imagine. And if I would have, if I was one of those parents, like they'll lock me up for child abuse. Like my parents, see, your kids is a reflection of you. I would be in jail just because of child abuse. Because I would have had a belt. I would be all them kids. So, but anyway, so we're not gonna abuse nobody else's kids. But if it was mine, my kids, they would have felt some repercussions. You just don't act like that, especially not in public. That's just so it's really unheard of. Like just wild animals. Like they never been anywhere. This next video, that's enough. I'm not going to talk about Chicago anymore. They just made me mad. This next video, this is about Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden actually is about Joe Biden. You know the running thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden is claiming that he had no dealings with Hunter Biden's business. But yesterday they came out, and I guess this whistleblower said, oh yeah, he talked to Hunter Biden's associates, talked to Joe Biden over 20 times in the span of, I guess, 10 years. They didn't say when these talks, the actual dates, but they said over a span of 10 years. And then the representative, Dan Goldman, said, oh, well, they talked about the weather and then he was just saying hi. And it's about an average of 2 times a year. Well, 2 times a year is more than enough. 2 times a year is more than enough to say, hey, where is my money? And I need it. Where is my money and I need it? And I don't understand where why Democrats can't believe that Joe Biden didn't have anything with his son's dealings. It's not like he's just a smart kid or just a business. He has so much business acumen. No, Hunter Biden, he used his daddy's name to get in the position of his business. He used his dad. And his dad was like, okay, son, I'll help you out. So let me see if I can find that video for you guys. Oh yeah, this is it. So this is Democrat, Dan Goldman reacting to what they found out in the oversight committee.
He did describe that there were approximately 20 occasions over the course of their nearly decade-long business relationship where, when one of them called the other, that Hunter Biden would ask his father to say hello to whomever he was at dinner. He said there were some times when it was friends and sometimes when it was potential business partners or business partners. But the witness was unequivocal and stated very clearly that they never discussed any business on that phone conversations. There were niceties and there was a hello and we talked about the weather or whatever it was, but it was never any business.
Do you guys believe that? Do you guys believe that there were never, ever any business dealings while they was on the phone call? While Joe Biden was like, hey, how you doing? Why you even put me on the phone? If you're with your friends or your business partner, why even call me while you're in a business meeting? Does that even make any sense? Why even call your dad while you're in a business meeting? That don't even make any sense. So I think they just think we're boo-boo the fools. I think they just think we were born maybe yesterday. maybe we were born yesterday. Like they just think like we don't have the wherewithal to understand, okay, these people are lying to us. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why do they think we believe them, number one.
Looking for a...
Oops. Now this is Jim Jordan. Let me just turn it off. It says Jim Jordan reveals Devin Archer interview has been very productive. And we don't know.
Anything you can share with us?
Very productive, and we'll like to talk with the chairman and then very productive.
Did Devin implicate the president?
Did speakerphone conversations come up?
We should talk with us sometime today.
They're chasing after him.
Did Devin implicate the president?
They're chasing after him. Just to see if they implicated the president, but it was a private meeting. So we probably won't know what's going to shake out. There's been talks that they're trying to get together if they're going to impeach the president or not. It's an impeachment inquiry. They don't know if they got enough evidence to impeach President Joe Biden right now. But I guess they're gathering all their firepower so they could use it to impeach him. I don't know if it's going to help any to impeach him, but and will he actually get impeached? We don't know. We don't know that. But we know that there's a lot of mischievous things that's going on in the White House. We know that. Whether or not they could prove it or not, we don't know. And this is on a New York Post. It's saying, my guy, Hunter Biden partner Devin Archer says Joe Biden was on calls with foreign patrons, the brand. I don't know what that means.
This is going to be an opportunity. Archer has met and communicated many, many times with Joe Biden about Burisma and other things. So this is going to be an opportunity for Devin Archer just to tell the truth. We have other bank statements that we've obtained that we have questions about pertaining to countries that we believe Archer may have knowledge of.
Well, House Oversight Committee member Texas Congressman Pat Fallon joins me now. Congressman, thanks for coming in. All these shell companies, all of this information that is being gathered by a couple of different committees, has anybody been able to connect the dots between the shell companies and Joe Biden?
Well, David, thanks for having me on. That's what we're doing, and this is what the process is all about. In every bit of evidence we've discovered over the last 7 months since we've had subpoena power and been in the majority, point to the fact that Hunter Biden, it appears anyhow, that Hunter Biden was the bag man for the Biden family and for Joe Biden. So we don't have a smoking gun, if you will, but I'm smelling the gunpowder and have been for a few months now.
Now, will Devin Archer provide you with the connector between those dots?
Oh, you very well may be. I mean, think about this, David. In September 2015, the U.S. Ambassador Jeffrey Pyatt, who was appointed by Obama, was talking about corruption in Ukraine, and he pointed to Mikhaila Zlochevsky, who is the owner of Burisma. Joe Biden's son, Hunter, just happened to sit on the board, and so did Devin Archer of Burisma. They had a board meeting in December in Dubai where Zlochevsky asked Hunter to call his father, which he did. And Hunter said to his dad, and this is why Devin Archer's testimony was important. He was there. He said, Dad, they need our support. So what happened? Joe Biden flew to Ukraine and told the Ukrainians to fire Viktor Shokin, who was the prosecutor investigating Burisma and Zlochevsky.
Well, and then he bragged about it.
Yeah, he bragged about it, withheld $1 billion in aid.
Yeah.
And then Shokin, and a lot of Americans don't know this, seized 4 homes, 2 plots of land, and a Rolls Royce of Zlochevsky. Then he was fired, and Joe Biden gave the Ukrainians the $1 billion. That's getting really close to direct linkage.
For those who find Joe.
Yeah, I don't know if you can't impeach Joe Biden off of that one. I don't know what they want. I mean, that's you don't get more coincidence of that. You have business dealings. You hired somebody in the White House, and somebody in the White House supposedly is friends with somebody on where your son works, and he happens to be on the board. It's like, and then you call your dad saying, hey, we need your support, and subsequently this guy end up being fired. Like, it just doesn't, like, it's not a coincidence. You were the main player, Joe Biden. You made the things happen. You are the main player. Joe Biden is the main player. I mean, it's like, what more do you want as a smoking gun? I just don't understand. What more do you want? In this article, it says former Hunter business partner Devin Archer told Congress Monday that Hunter referred to President Biden as my guy, while connecting his dad to foreign associates nearly 24 times as Republicans move closer to starting an impeachment inquiry. My guy. When people ask me about, hey, do you know who could do something? What everybody says that. Oh, I got a guy. I got a guy. My guy. My guy means, oh, he could get it done for you. You won't call him your guy. Everybody, that's a universal statement or United States statement. My guy. Everybody knows what my guy means. I mean, come on now. Archer said during the 4-hour House Oversight Committee interview, Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma Holding pay Hunter up to $1 million a year to serve on his board because of his family's brand. He didn't even bring anything to the table. He was using his daddy's name and his political power. He didn't bring nothing to the table. Hunter Biden is a drug user. He likes to party. Only thing he brings to the table is the connection. His daddy is the president and was the vice president of the United States. So he was very well connected, or is very well connected. Archer met with then vice president in April 2014, within days of joining Burisma board alongside Hunter. So it's saying that Archer, look, Vice President Joe Biden at the time got Archer in on Burisma board. Burisma would have gone out of business if the brand had not been attached to it. Joe Biden made things happen. Hey, hello, Joe Biden made things happen, according to the readout from the panel Republicans. Archer talked about the big guy and how Hunter Biden always said, we need to talk to my guy, my daddy, because my daddy could get things done. We need to see when my guy is going to be here and those types of things, Representative Andy Biggs told reporters as he left the deposition. According to Archer, Burisma owner Slovchevsky, who allegedly told the FBI informant in 2016 he was coerced to pay $10 million in bribes to Hunter Biden. Hunter and Joe Biden. $10 million in bribes. This is an FBI informant. Put intense pressure on Hunter in the 2015 to enlist U.S. support for outstanding Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin, who had investigated Burisma, the Republican readout said. So they got Shokin, since he was investigating Burisma. Hunter Biden or Joe Biden made a call to Zelensky and said, I don't know, was Zelensky in power? I'm not for sure. Hey, you need to get rid of this Shokin guy. And they fired him. You're trying to get protection. You want us to stand for Ukraine. You need to get rid of Shokin. Joe Biden, my guy. That's a good title. Joe Biden, my guy. That's an excellent title. I'm going to put that in my next thumbnail. Joe Biden, my guy. I know a guy. This raises concerns that Hunter Biden was in violations of the Foreign Agents Registration Act, the GOP majority on the Oversight Committee tweeted. We know that this is not concerned. This is a violation of the act. You're persuading other political or other foreign entities about businesses, and you're coercing them, making them give you money, And then you calling on your friend in the foreign nation to fire people that has nothing to do with you because they was investigating a company that your son sits on the board. And if you guys recall, on one of our last streams, Hunter Biden case fell apart. The judge did not give him the plea deal because of FARA. That's still under investigation. And he wanted immunity. This fool wanted immunity for all the crimes they didn't put on the docket. He know he's in trouble. So he wants immunity for all the crimes that they know they haven't charged him with. Joe Biden was on speakerphone doing Paris dinner with the reps from a French energy company, Archer said, and while his son was in China with Jonathan Lee, a BHR partners, and stated backed investment fund co-founded by Hunter in 2013 after he introduced his father to Lee during an official trip in Beijing. Archer further confirmed that then Vice President attended an April 2015 dinner at Washington Cafe Milano with Posharsky, a former Moscow First Lady. And it says, and a former Moscow First Lady, Yelena Berturina. I'm killing these names. I know I am. I know I'm killing these names. I know I'm killing these names. David said in 2016, thank you, David, Hunter was appointed to the board of directors of Amtrak by George W. Bush. 2020, Bush supported Biden over Trump. Coinky dink. Yeah. How come George Bush, look, George Bush is a Republican and he supporting a Democrat. Said, we wish he could give us more detailed answers on some of our questions, but what he did provide is massive, she added. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that. Okay. I don't know anything about my son's dealings, business dealings. I never talked to Hunter about his business. That's what he said. Yeah, that's what Biden is saying, Joe Biden. He said he don't know anything. I don't talk about business to my son. You're right. Yeah, right. Your son can't even speak a foreign language and he's overseas making deals in Ukraine. He's in China. Like he's a foreign leader. Like, come on, man. He making all these deals like he's a foreign diplomat. It says Archer appeared after the Justice Department and Archer's own lawyer, Matthew Schwartz, attempt to dismiss speculations that federal prosecutors had tried to intimidate Archer ahead of his planned testimony, with Saturday request that the judge begin the process and imprison Archer on an unrelated fraud charge. So Archer is dirty too, of course. I mean, if they all mixing in the pot, birds of a feather flock together. Schwartz is the partner of Boyce Swillers Flexner, a law firm with close ties to the Democrats that's formerly employed Hunter during his father's vice presidency. Hunter just be getting jobs because of his daddy. He probably don't have any special skills besides snorting lines. Snorting lines, smoking crack, and kicking it with hoes.
No special skills whatsoever. Okay. He knows how to party. In that capacity, Hunter worked with her Romanian business Gabriel Popoviciu, who bank records show paid members of the Biden family $1 million between 2015 and 2017 as he battled a corruption conviction. So they was bribing, they was paying Biden so he could get out of jail, maybe to pay his way out of a sentence. Even as the VP, Joe Biden campaigned against corruption in Romania, and he had direct dealings with corruption. You allowing people to pay you to get out of jail. That's probably why he let the Merchant of Death go for Brittany Griner. What's her name? Brittany Griner. So, you know, it goes on. It goes on. This is a long story about where's the money. It says President Biden is engulfed in a lot of smoke, and where's the smoke? There's a fire, and it appears he has lit himself ablaze in the inferno of lies and testimonies that points to corruption at the very, very highest level. President Biden himself has tried to laugh off the 10 million bribery allegations involving Burisma, telling the Post last month that the account was malarkey. That's what it's called, malarkey, and asking where's the money. But the Oversight Committee Republicans are investigating whether the Biden family kept overseas bank accounts and communications on Hunter's laptop, referring to Burisma opening a Maltese bank account for him in 2016. They said 3.5 transferred on Valentine's Day in 2014 to Hunter Biden's linked firm has remained murky since it emerged in 2020. So they just need to follow the money. They need to follow the money, and they'll find out where the dirty people lie. And it sounds like Joe Biden and Hunter Biden is pretty dirty. That's what it sounds like. Hunter Biden and Joe and Hunter are pretty dirty. And we're in it for the ride, I guess. Well, some of us signed up for this, but 81 million people signed up for it, apparently. 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. David said, I'm just amazed that Archer didn't off himself. Yeah, you know, that might be the next thing. I'm not going to laugh about that. I don't think that's funny. You know, when you get too close to the higher ups and you start telling on people, yeah, he probably going to need, you know, protection. He needs protection. They denied protection for RFK. This guy's going to, Dennis Archer, he's going to need protection. I don't know who's going to give it to him. It seems like the CIA and Secret Service and the FBI is working for Joe. They're not independent. It seems like they're working for the President of the United States. And I believe the CIA and the FBI is supposed to be independent of the president. It's like a system of checks and balances, but it doesn't seem that way. It seemed like the CIA or the FBI, Joe Biden has them in their pocket. So hopefully this guy would get some type of protection. But that's all I'm going to talk about that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Joe Biden and his criminal family. He's a criminal. What more can we say about that? Joe Biden, Hunter Biden are criminals. So let's go to our next subject. Now this, we already talked about this, but I wanted to give you guys an update. The guy that died in a paddleboard accident at the former President Obama, Barack Obama, and they said the president wasn't there, and he wasn't, I guess. They said the ex-president's chef was there. Why was she there? So the president and his wife, or the ex-president and his wife, wasn't there. Nobody was there besides this guy and I guess the ex-chef. They're not telling what who she is, but this guy was supposed to be married. Why was they there by themselves? What was they doing? It says the fellow paddleboarder. Make sure you guys can see my screen. Yeah. The fellow paddleboarder. I don't know why they call him the fellow paddleboarder. Apparently how to paddleboard, because he ended up drowning. They said who was with Barack and Michelle Obama's personal chef. He drowned near Martha's Vineyard compound, is also a staffer to the former president. So I'm kind of confused. Is the former chef, the staffer was the former chef, or is just a staffer to the former president? And reportedly tried to save the chef from drowning. It was a female staffer. The female staffer was with Tafari Campbell. The moment the renowned chef fell off his paddleboard and into the pond before disappearing underwater, according to Daily Mail. The woman, whose name wasn't revealed, tried desperately to save her colleague, but didn't reach him in time. The woman then rushed back to shore, where she asked for help, with the Secret Service agents calling for emergency services from Obama's estate to Edgartown, sources told the Daily Mail. Insiders told the outlet the woman was lucid and clear and did not appear to be intoxicated. The witness said Campbell struggled to stay afloat and wasn't wearing a life jacket while out on the water, official said last week. Okay, so you're on the paddleboard. Paddleboard tends to float. I don't know how choppy those waters are in Martha Vineyards, but don't you put the thing on your ankle? The paddleboard, they got a thing on your ankle so you could just, you know, be able to get back on the board. I think that's how it works. So maybe he didn't put, and was he intoxicated? It says the 45-year-old death doesn't appear to be suspicious based on the evidence collected in the now closed probe. The toxicology report is still pending. Campbell was found Monday in 8 feet of water, roughly 100 feet from the shore of the former commander-in-chief property, after the first responders received a call about the incident Sunday evening. The Obamas, who were not home at the time of the drowning, said in a statement last week that Campbell was a beloved part of our family. So question, if you're not there, why are you there? Look, if you're not actually working, why are you there? You're the chef. Who are you cooking food for? So why are you even there? So that's going to be another mystery. Why was he even there at the house if they wasn't even home? So that's it about that. Obama. Obama staffer was with the chef. Okay. So we're moving forward. Our next story. We have Rashida Tlalib. Rashida Tlalib. Let me see. Rashida Tlalib is on she's the 12th district representative in Michigan. Okay. She's the 12th district representative of Michigan. And that includes Southfield, Detroit, and it's another little city. I want to say was it Waterford? Or not Waterford, but Wayne City or something like that. Let's see where. I thought I had it pulled up. Oh, maybe it's Inkster. Detroit, Southfield, and Inkster. Okay. That's the district. She has Redford too. She has Southfield, Dearborn, Westland, some parts of Detroit, you know, and Westland. Okay, so Southfield, Redford, Westland, Dearborn, and I don't know if I guess Detroit is not included into this, but that's her district. That's her district. And so she decided that she wanted to talk about Florida's public schools. And she tweeted, "It's outrageous that in Florida, public school students will now be taught that enslaved Black folks benefited from slavery. Slavery was evil, disgusting, and had no redeeming qualities, period." We know that. And I wish everyone would stop talking about slavery like slavery didn't exist prior to America. That's one thing we got to get rid of. Slavery existed throughout time. Black folks was not the only people that were enslaved. So yeah, in America, they did enslave Black folks, and a lot of people don't know white folks came over here as slaves too, but they separated the two. So she decided.
I know I come and
she's decided to tweet this. I'm not talking about Florida, because the whole thing is they're saying Florida is saying that you know, they benefited from slavery. I read the curriculum. It's a 62-page curriculum. It's very comprehensive. I don't think that's what their point is, but this is the race baiting thing that we go through. So Rashida, she wants to jump on the bandwagon. But my message to Rashida, Your kids cannot read. Michigan kids cannot read. And matter of fact, you're in one of those districts that they read the worst. Like, your kids are probably passing at a 20%, third grade level. So let's listen to Rashida.
And grew up in the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, in the city of Detroit, where every corner is a reminder of the civil rights movement, a reminder of different movements that ensured that our black neighbors had human dignity. But now across the country, far-right extremists, elected officials like the governor of Florida are attempting to whitewash black history and ban books in our children's classrooms. Florida's own Board of Education just approved new black history standards, and public school students will be now taught that enslaved black folks benefited from slavery. The audacity. There's no two sides, Mr. Speaker, to slavery. Slavery was cruel, it was inhumane, it was a violent practice that denied our black neighbors and communities their basic human dignity. It had no redeeming qualities. Many of the founding fathers in this chamber even owned human beings themselves. These are just facts. These are our history. You cannot teach the truth about American history without teaching African American history. We must teach our children, Mr. Speaker, the truth about our nation's history. That means reckoning with racism, oppression, and lynching, dehumanization, and white supremacist violence. We cannot learn from our past if our past is no longer being taught. We will not allow anyone to rewrite our history. And again, it is so important that this chamber understands that black history is American history. And again, I cannot thank my good colleague from Vermont, Representative Blank, for really, truly championing this issue today. And again, from a community that taught me oppression against anyone needs to continue to be uplifted and fought against. I can't stand by, even if it's another state doing it, and say that it's okay and stand by idly. I can't stand by the sidelines, and we have to, again, continue to speak truth. With that, I yield back to my colleague.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that you're standing up for, I guess, Florida. But Rashida, like, you need to take care of your own house. You really, and then you need to talk to your colleagues in Detroit. Take care of your own public schools, because our public schools are failing. Our public schools are failing. I'm trying to get back to the census. The reading level, let me see if I could find reading level. And I mean, overall of a state, we're like number 36 overall in state. 36. You got some schools outperforming others, but really, in Detroit, I think Detroit, they said the reading level in Detroit, 85% of the students can't pass the third grade reading. 85% of the students, they're reading at a third grade level. They can't go beyond. And we're talking about Florida. No, stay in your own city. And we so focused on Florida and what they doing and putting curriculums together. At least they putting a curriculum together. What are we doing here? Michigan stuck in the bottom 10 states for fourth grade reading test scores. We're at the bottom. I think statewide grade reading proficiency rates and subgroups. They're talking about Black students at 16% reading proficiency. Higher income students at 60%. And they broke it down. They talked about COVID, how COVID affected the reading level, but they were already in the bottom 10. Students of color, low-income students face worse outcomes. Michigan fell from 32nd to 2019 to 43rd. 43rd in fourth grade reading scores in 2022 National Assessment for the NAEP. So we're so focused on, oh, they're teaching them Black history or not teaching them Black history. No, they're not going to be able to learn any type of history if they can't read. How about that? Reading is the gateway to everything else. And we're so focused on somebody else reading. Yeah, I'm from Detroit. Well, not necessarily from Detroit, but I've been here for 20 years. And so you're focusing on Florida. You need to focus on here. Get our kids up to par. Get our kids at reading level. Get them to pass these tests. Stop worried about all this extra stuff. That it really gets on my nerves. That they so worried about race and inclusivity, your how you feel on the inside, and the kids can't read. And then you wonder why you got all these kids in Chicago acting a damn fool, because they probably can't read either. If you can't read, how you gonna fill out a job application? I'm just saying, let me know. Let me know if you could fill out a job application without reading. Oh, and I wrote it down. It says 16% of our kids is passing that third grade reading level. Only 16% in her area, in her district. And you worried about somebody else's stuff. No, get your kids to read. So this takes us to our last subject, when I was talking about, hey, we are focusing on the wrong things. We are so focused on how people are feeling on the inside, or we're so busy on race baiting people. Everything has to be a race card put with it, instead of focusing on the things that matter. You know, you're trying to include everybody, but you're leaving behind the person that you need to be focused on, like your kids. And that's what I'm talking about for. This is the last thing I'm going to talk about for today. And this is Muppet Babies. Let me make sure. Yeah, you can see it. Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies now is saying Gonzo is trans. Gonzo is trans. I can't play it, but it goes a little something like this. One of the Muppets said, "Oh, Gonzo, we miss you for our ball, our party." That little bird right there. "We miss you for the party. Why didn't you come?" And Gonzo said, "Well, I was there, but you guys didn't recognize me. I was afraid to let you know." And they was like, "You were? Where were you?" "Oh," and he put the slipper on. You see, he put the slipper on and he turns into a queen. Gonzo turned into a Fruity Loop, a transvestite. And Miss Piggy was like, "Why didn't you let us know?" And Gonzo was like, "I was he called himself Gonzella." I was Gonzo. He said, "I was scared to let you know because I thought you wouldn't like me. I was just trying to be myself and be who I truly am." No, Gonzo, you're a Muppet. You're a boy Muppet on top of that. And you are an ugly girl. You okay, boy. This is okay. But as a girl, you're ugly. I'm sorry. So let's not beat around the bush. Okay? Gonzo, you are a boy. And dressing up a girl as a girl is wrong. You know, so this is what they're trying to teach our kids. They're teaching your kids that it's okay that if you're a boy, you could still wear a gown to the ball or outside because it's okay to be your true self. This is what they're teaching it. And they was like, I'm not going to play those because, you know, they're going to demonetize me. But you see all, you know, Fonzie, what's his name? Fuzzy or Fozzie. They was looking at him in shock. Like, oh my God. And he has the glass slipper. Like, you're going to turn into a princess once you put on girl shoes. This is for kids. Who watches Muppet Babies? 3-year-old, 4-year-olds, maybe 5. And that's what they're telling us. That's what they're telling your kids. Muppet Babies is on HBO. And HBO is real gay. HBO got a lot of gay shows on it. So you just be prepared. If you don't want your kids watching this kind of stuff, you literally can't say your kids could watch. It's not even safe to watch cartoons. Look at Animal. Animal like, God damn. Animal's like, God. What the hell is that? Animal, that's what Animal was saying. And this is what they want your kids to watch. It's okay for your kids to dress as a girl and put on. And Kermit was like, oh boy. Okay, Kermit. Okay, Kermit.
So why?
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. This is crazy to me. This is crazy. And we say they're not coming after our kids, and they are. They are coming after our kids. And you better be careful. They're coming after our kids. You better be careful. If you don't want your kids watching this kind of stuff and getting confused, you better watch everything, pre-watch everything before you say, oh, it's okay to watch. All right. So that was it for our live stream, guys. I think I fussed enough at the computer and at you guys. I am sending all my good to you. Tomorrow we're going to go live as well at 2:00. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about something. But you guys, I'm sending all my good to you, and I will talk to you soon.